The echo of dust, a cat's stoic forge. I was 39 when Lena walked out, leaning against the cracked window frame of my cliffside shack, the sea growling below as dusk swallowed the light. Dust, my short-haired, gray tabby with eyes like glinting jade, was curled on the sill, his tail brushing the salt-worn wood. Her words still hung in the air, cold and final, from 2 hours back. "I need space. You'll be fine, right?" Her boots crunched down the gravel. The screen door slammed, and I didn't chase her. Not with my body, but my mind clung, picking apart every piece of myself I'd given her. My steadiness, my care, the days I'd stood as a rock, all discarded like a wind-blown leaf. Dust didn't stir, just watched the road fade into shadow, his stillness cutting through the storm in me like a blade. I'd always thought disappearing was the answer, going silent, cutting her off, letting her feel the hole I'd leave behind. I'd nearly done it, phone in hand, ready to block her number, retreat into the dark, and wait for her to miss me. Dust shifted then, hopping down with a soft thud, sniffing his dry kibble before climbing onto the roof. Calm, unbothered, needing nothing from me or anyone. That's when it hit me. What if I don't run? What if I stay, face it, and forge something stronger from the dust she left behind? The question burned, and as I watched dust settle up there, his jade eyes catching the last light, I chose a different path. Not escape, not revenge, but transformation. Dust became my quiet teacher, my stoic guide, and the old storm-battered book of wisdom I'd found in the attic years ago. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca became my hammer and anvil. Looking back, that moment was the first fire I faced, and I didn't flinch. Lena expected me to crumble, rage, beg, or at least show the hurt she'd carved into me. I'd been that guy before in my 20s, when breakups left me a mess, calling exes at 2 a.m., pleading for answers. Not this time. Dust taught me something I missed all those years. When a gull swooped down and stole his fish, he didn't yowl or chase. He sat, licked a paw, and stayed steady. I won't break, I told myself, those ancient words ringing true. You have power over your mind, not outside events. I didn't text her, didn't rant, didn't let my fingers hover over her name. Instead, I laced up my boots and ran the cliffs until my lungs burned, the wind drowning out the noise in my head. She messaged me a day later, "You okay?" And I replied short and flat, "Fine, busy." No emotion, no bait, just control. I could feel her mind turning. Does he even care? Did I leave a mark? I didn't run or hide. I faced the fire and bent it to my will, and that's when I started to feel the shift. Her leaving didn't hollow me out. It was the dust I'd used to forge something new. I'd spent too much of my life before this running from pain. Jobs I hated in my early 30s, relationships that fizzled, always ducking the hard stuff, hoping it'd fix itself. Lena thought I'd do the same, stand still and wait for her to circle back. Dust showed me different. When a stray cat took his spot once, he didn't slink off. He climbed higher, claimed the roof, his kingdom unshaken. On my own forge, I decided, and I stopped running literally and figuratively. I've been a guy who jogged sometimes, wrote half-finished stories, let days blur into each other. Not anymore. I ran farther, pushing past the ache, my breath sinking with the waves. I wrote every night, words sharper than ever, pages stacking up in the shack. Pain doesn't break me. It shapes me. I realize those stoic lines echoing. The obstacle is the way. I didn't vanish or beg. I stood in the dust and hammered it into steel, a version of myself she'd never recognize. I didn't disappear from her world. I changed in it, and that caught her off guard. She expected me to fade, a ghost she could forget, like the guys I used to be, sulking after every rejection in my youth. Predictability's a trap. Surprise is power. I learned, dust leading the way. When I swapped his water bowl once, he didn't complain, just watched, adjusted, moved on. I'm the unexpected, I told myself, staying visible but different, posting shots of cliffs I'd conquered, laughing with dockhands over beers, my voice carrying through mutual friends. She texted, "You look different," and I shot back. Life keeps moving. No explanation, just truth. I could sense her mind spinning. Who is he now? What did I miss? Psychology backs it up. People chase what they can't pin down. I didn't go silent or sulk. I let her see a man reshaped, a face she thought she knew rising from the ashes she left. I didn't shrink away. I grew louder, and that light burned her assumptions. People value what others see. I figured out, dust my proof. When he'd stalk prey, other cats watched, drawn to his quiet reign. I shine without trying. I promise myself, stepping out more. Hanging with fishermen, swapping stories with writers, building a crew of sharp, real people. My energy steadied, my laugh carried. One night, a friend snapped a photo, me mid-tail, others leaning in, posted it online. She commented, "Looks fun." I didn't reply. She'll see I'm not alone. I thought, knowing how social proof works, if others want you, she wonders what she overlooked. I didn't hide or fade. My presence lit up her doubts, a fire spreading where she'd expected darkness. I didn't cut her off. I turned cold, and that stillness hit harder than silence. Running's predictable. Standing unmoved is strength. I saw, dust my mirror, when thunder rolled, he'd sit, jade eyes steady, unfazed. I'm stoned, I swore her, "How you holding up?" Met with good, got a lot going, short, solemn, my rhythm line. She figured I'd ghost her or grovel. I did neither, my voice even, my focus elsewhere. She'll feel irrelevant. I knew, her head scrambling. Why isn't he shaken? I've been the guy who overreacted once. Yelling at a boss in my mid-20s, crying over a girl at 22, but not now. I didn't dodge or plead. My coldness broke her certainty, a rock she couldn't crack. I didn't flee. I stood tall, and that rarity made her chase me. People hunt what's scarce. I learned, dust my clue. When I'd leave for work, he wouldn't wait, just hunted, making me seek him out. I'm the light she can't catch. I told myself her "I miss you" met with nice to hear. Light, then quiet, my pace slow and sure. Tension draws them in. I understood that deep fear of losing something tugging at her. Does he want me? I didn't vanish or rush. My scarce presence pulled her toward me, a shadow chasing the flame I'd become. I didn't retreat. I walked through the fire, and that departure was my crown. Kings don't linger. They move. I realized, dust my truth. When night fell, he'd roam, free on his terms. I walk like fire. I declared, her "Can we meet?" Answered with "When I've got time." Polite, final, my worth ironclad. She'll feel she's lost her grip. I sensed Epictetus's words steadying me. Freedom is not being enslaved to desires. I clung too long in my past. Jobs I hated, loves I chased, but not here. I didn't fake it or wait. My steps burned a path she couldn't follow, a kingdom beyond her reach. I didn't shout. I built, and that victory became my empire. Success is a quiet blaze. I saw, dust my map. After a storm washed his perch away, he hunted anew, ruler of the cliffs. My empire echoes. I vowed. My body leaner from dawn runs, my story selling. My shack a fortress of purpose. She scrolled one night, saw me, sharper, surrounded, soaring, and I felt her envy through the screen. What did I let go? I didn't argue or flaunt. My rise haunted her, her ashes now my throne. I'd wasted years before, drifting through dead-end gigs. But this time, I turned pain into power, silent and sure. I didn't chase her back. I rose above, and that uniqueness became my unseen crown. She'll never find me in another. I knew, dust my reflection. No stray matches jade stare. I'm the crown I swore, my purpose, cliff sink a life vast, my core. Kings don't bow, I thought her, I'm messed up, fading into the wind, my path unbroken. I've been replaceable once, forgettable jobs, fleeting flings, but not anymore. I didn't run or need. My fire burned singular, an empire she'd never touch. Now, a year later, dust sits on the roof, jade eyes tracking the dawn, while I write by the sea's pulse, my shack a forge of triumph. Lena's texts, where are you? Drift unanswered, her regret a whisper I don't hear. The docks pay my way, my stories take flight. I'm stoiccat, shaped from dust, crowned by my own hands. I stayed and turned her ashes into my empire. Power wasn't in escaping, it was in me, standing firm, forged anew, a man she'll never reach. I am my own fire, I tell myself, my empire echoing into forever.